What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy. Go Black to Africa. Thank you for each and every one of you all who are coming in right now. And I am so delighted to bring on a beautiful couple from New Orleans. I call it the New Orleans, as they might say. But they have decided that they are leaving damn Erica, excuse me, but hey, put the D in front of America, capitalize the E. Damn Erica, going to South Africa. And they have been there several times and got a plethora of information for you all to be able to decide whether or not you will go down to visit, check it out and see what's going on. But they might even share also some of their other countries they've been to give you insight on what's going on in the motherland. So without further ado, I'm going to give them the opportunity to kind of introduce themselves. So let's bring in Asad and Adrian. Hey, everybody, please welcome the beautiful family.
Hey.
Asad and Adrian.
Hey, how's everybody, man? It is an absolute pleasure to be. Before we start any introduction, as I said I would do, I have to thank you for the work that you're doing and the platform that you're creating to spread the message, to change the paradigm, to shatter the lies and images and false propaganda against the continent of Africa and awaken the minds and consciousnesses. However you say consciousness plural.
Well, I appreciate it.
To the continent, man. So I think did we lose? Oh, okay.
No, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Cool. So definitely we want to thank you for that. And I am Asad.
I'm Adrian. Yep.
And we are definitely from New Orleans. Well, let's be clear. I'm from New Orleans. My wife is from Texas,
I'm from the great state of Texas.
Oh, okay.
But she's been in New Orleans about 20 years, right. so she kind of sort of one of us.
Did she cook that good New Orleans food?
Yeah.
Can you, Adrian? Can you cook that food?
I can't claim that one.
Yeah. I still go to my mama's house every night.
Yeah.
I want something, New Orleans.
Well, hey, I tell you, thanks for coming on and for this interview. I believe this is going to be a prolific interview because you are the first ones I'm interviewing who are who's familiar with South Africa there, and also, as far as expats, but also, that can give us some information on you all's, business that I understand that y'all even got going on over there, and how y'all going to leave here in America in a couple of months and just become residents of the country and stuff.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Well, I guess it would the best to start at the beginning, like the Bible in the beginning. It started for us. So we had frequented the continent over the course of our marriage and even prior to our marriage. Right. However, we had been on a little hiatus of the traveling, and up until about 2016, 2017, we started traveling again. In 2019, there was all of this hype about the return in Ghana. And that was initially, so we had taken our children several places around the world, Istanbul to Colombia to Mexico to Morocco, but they're young. So at the time they were younger. And we wanted to take them to Black Africa, like real Africa, once they were old enough to remember it. We didn't want to take, our baby was 4. We had him in Morocco, right? He doesn't remember that now. So, so when we got to Sub-Saharan Africa, right? When we got him there, we wanted him to be able to remember it. So around 2019, we're like, oh, this would be a great idea. He's a little older. The baby's a little older. Definitely the oldest one's going to remember it. And we were going to go to the year to return. But as we started looking at those plane tickets, we poor. So started looking at the cost of the plane tickets. We were like, "Ooh, Jesus!"
Yeah,
yeah.
Not even the plane ticket, the
accommodations like the Kapinski. Yeah, Kapinski was expensive. So, and I think what it was a lot of the celebrities were going. Beyonce's mama there, Cardi B, and all of these people were there. So I think it kind of artificially inflated the prices of everything. So with that being said, we had a good friend that we met in Tanzania in 2009 who had come to visit us many times in New Orleans and always told us, she was from South Africa, from Cape Town. And she kept saying, you guys need to visit South Africa. And she would point out some of the similarities. We have, South Africa has the colored community. New Orleans has the Creole community, which is very similar. Some of my research, maybe we'll talk about that later, will be centered around these similarities between New Orleans and places like Cape Town and Johannesburg. So she kept saying, we need to go. So we kind of looked at the prices of plane tickets for for South Africa, and they were just because more people frequent South Africa, the plane tickets were much more affordable. So that's how we ended up in 2019 and going in 2019, and we arrived. I'll stop there. Yeah, we arrived in Cape Town, but I don't want to go too far into the story. But that's how we ended up choosing to visit South Africa the first time.
Okay. Now you said that you've taken the family, y'all traveled with the children in various countries and stuff like that. And so you mentioned Morocco. Is Morocco? What other countries in Africa have you visited?
Morocco, Egypt. She's been to Senegal, Mali, Tanzania.
Okay.
Zanzibar, if you want to count Zanzibar as another place.
Part of Tanzania.
Tanzania,
yeah.
Okay.
Those are the main countries.
South Africa.
And South Africa now. Yeah.
Now, Adrian, have you done those countries that he just mentioned on the tail end on your own there, that you've been to those countries?
Yeah, I spent several months in Mali doing some research when I was in graduate school, and then the same thing in Tanzania, and then a short stint in Senegal, but not nearly as long as the other two.
Okay. Because I get emails from women who are inquiring about, traveling by themselves, the safety and stuff like that. So you haven't had any issues or problems traveling Africa, I guess, on your own.
No, but I've never been a solo traveler. I usually, in my younger years, when I just wanted to sort of get out and get off the beaten path, because I was never much of a luxury traveler, I would just join travel groups. So I would travel by myself, but meet up with them. One time I joined a group of missionaries at random to, go to Haiti or Brazil or something like that. But I've never done it just completely on my own. And that's just my own sort of like, if I'm going to a place that's not a real high touristy destination, I feel like I need to know someone on the ground that can help me navigate. And it's just not anything I would do without knowing the language and without knowing someone there.
Yeah. Right.
So it depends on the destination.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could do it alone in like Cape Town or South Africa, easy.
Yeah, especially if you stick to the touristy spots.
Right.
It's like New Orleans in many ways. If you stick to the French Quarter, you come here by yourself. It's all right. You start coming into my neighborhood, I don't know how you're gonna make it out.
Yeah, I made it out though. I love going through. I like going through the creps and crevices of the hoods and all that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't mean I go at night though.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning as far as deciding Africa, because y'all travel to other countries and stuff. And I saw a video of you all that you all say, hey, we've been to these other countries, it's time to go to motherland. What was that decision, and what was also the decision on leaving America for good, I guess, to go live in another country?
You want me to tell you?
So it's probably a two-part answer, but I can start. Even as a child, I've always had an interest in traveling outside of the United States because I went to Catholic schools. And so these nuns would leave over the summer, come back and tell us stories of like the Philippines or wherever they went around the world. So I've always had an interest in traveling outside of the US. And then once I started traveling, as soon as like high school, junior year of high school, going on trips and things like that and doing my own sort of traveling on my own, I've always had a desire to live outside of the United States.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, no, I haven't always had a desire to live outside of the United States. I've never had a desire to live outside of New Orleans. So I don't want to live anywhere else in the United States besides New Orleans. But when we got married in 2009, it was my wife who was like, hey, in fact, at one point we were getting ready to move to Kenya because she was going to join the Peace Corps. She was fresh out or still in graduate school at the time. Yeah. So we were going to go to Kenya, and I was like, I'm not leaving New Orleans. I was like, what I'm going to eat? They don't got no A2 over there, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So that kind of put a pause on our. It was me. It was my reluctance to leave what I had known all my life. I don't know if you know much about New Orleans, but you can go back to 2005 and you'll find that, you know, Hurricane Katrina was the first time many people in New Orleans had left New Orleans.
Yeah.
We don't leave, we stay. We are here. Going out of town to us maybe go to Houston or something like that, but we are here. So I had that mindset for the longest. Although I had traveled, I had been to Paris, I had been to Amsterdam, I had been to Jamaica and stuff like that. Once one off on each of these times, I was like, oh yeah, I've lived my life. I've already traveled. I've been places, and I didn't realize that people go multiple places and travel, you know, throughout time, you know, throughout their life.
Yeah.
I don't forgot the question.
Of deciding what was it that made you decide to go ahead and leave? And
okay, so let me tell you. So let's get into the story now. So 2019, bam, 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 just like that. We are in South Africa. We're in Johannesburg, and we had a great time. Well, we were in Cape Town. I didn't like Cape Town. I didn't dislike Cape Town, but I didn't have that affinity, that connection to Cape Town like I did with Johannesburg. When I got to Johannesburg, I had Gil Scott-Heron playing in my head. What's the word? I had, you know, I felt the vibe. I felt the energy. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. It was all of that wrapped into one. One moment I'm sitting outside in Rosebank. Rosebank is like a area. It's a mall actually, but it's a mall. The mall is named after the area. And I was sitting out there and I was looking around. Brother, I saw all these black people, what I perceived to be black people. Later on, I know that some were black, some were colored, identified as color. But in the United States, our perceptive lenses that they're black. Right. I was just looking around. I was like, man, look at all these black people. They working in the stores. They are patrons as well as, you know, the customers as well as workers. They're going into the bank. I went into the bank and everybody in the bank was black. And I had seen stuff like this before, like in Tanzania or whatever have you. But not quite the energy, you know, that I felt when I was in Georgia. So we got back to the United States and we said, what we're going to do is we're going to buy a place in Johannesburg. And every year, instead of taking our children around to these different places, our children have been to Paris, Spain, all these different places. Instead of taking them there, every year we're just going to go back to Johannesburg. Now they'll have a connection with the continent. They'll know this city intimately. It'll be like a second home. So we bought a place, right? Okay. Wow. Then COVID hits. And we're walking around like, dang, we can't even get back there. So we living vicariously through all these YouTubers who are living in South Africa. And we're just watching videos over and over and over again. So we started to make a plan. We said, well, we need to figure out how we can get a visa. So we said, what we need to do is we need to buy enough property, right? So that we can come up with there's a retirement person's visa, a retirement visa in South Africa. Yeah. So we said, okay, it's going to take us about 7 years to buy enough property. So our plan was 7 years. And then we said, well, we need to figure out how to speed this up, accelerate. I can't wait 7 years. So then we formulated a plan to do it in 5 years. And then I said, man, you know, 5 years is still a little long there. You know, that's kind of rough. So we said, well, let's see how we can do it in maybe 2 or 3 years. And while we were working on our 2 to 3 year plan, so what that meant is that we bought a multi-unit property that had about 12 apartments in a commercial space. We bought another apartment. So we own a few properties there. But then in May of 2020, George Floyd was murdered. Murdered by the hands of the police. All this time from 2019, 2020, I'm telling people, I think we're going to move to South Africa. I want to move to South Africa. I want to move to Johannesburg. I want to move. I'm telling my mom, I'm telling my dad. My mom is, you know, looking at me crazy. Boy, what you talking about? You ain't going nowhere. George Floyd got killed. My mom called me. We were actually in Houston, Texas, because Louisiana was on lock. Houston is real red. They was wide open. Wow. So we went to Texas to get a little wide open. And my mom called me and she said, son, if you're going to do it right. She said, I understand that you got to go protect my grandchildren. If you're going to do it right. And that's when we began to plan on how to get out of here. And we put our plan into action starting May 2020. sped it up.
Accelerated.
And now June. Right now we know our house is for sale, and we have obtained all of what we need in order to be there in June. So
virtual work,
and people want to know how we're going to survive.
Right. Yeah.
We do have rental income, but however, we know it is we got virtual work, and it's much smarter to earn the US dollar in the South African context because the dollar is further. Yeah. So we have jobs that afforded us to work anywhere in the world.
So since we're talking about business and money, which is my line of work too, as well, property and real estate.
Okay, well, let me hold something, brother.
Hey. Let's talk some game.
Yeah, let me hold something. Let me hold $20.
Hey, as long as you can hold it, give it back. I'm you
got to hold something in return.
Huh? That's right. That's right. Because I know that you're going to spark interest in people saying you purchased 2 properties in Johannesburg, and
3.
How does that work? I mean, you don't have to be a resident or a citizen. You can just purchase right out.
No, and the beautiful thing about it, we were in the property or here in the United States. Yeah. So we've been landlords before. We've had several rental properties here in New Orleans, Airbnbs and all. So this was kind of something we were familiar with. So the process to purchase in South Africa was so familiar, that it was, nothing felt foreign at all. Yeah. There's a website that's very similar to your MLS site here in the United States.
Oh, okay.
Property 24. You can go there and you can find. Now there are other properties, privateproperty.co.za, or whatever have you.
That's
but
the mothership.
Yeah, but Property 24 is the one, right? Okay. And you're going to see Remax. I think you see Keller Williams, if I'm not mistaken, but you definitely going to see brands that you are familiar with if you've purchased a home in the United States.
Yeah.
The process of talking to the real estate agent, the process of having a home inspector go out to evaluate the home and give you a report. Man, we had a guy went out to look at the first apartment we bought. The first apartment was a 1-bedroom flat, right? A 1-bedroom apartment, 1 bedroom, 1 bath flat. He went out to look at the place and he wrote me a 200-page report on a 1-bedroom, 1 bath apartment with everything from this chip paint and how much it's going to cost to repair that chip paint, or whatever have you. You see? Wow. So we felt comfortable in purchasing this because we purchased it from the United States.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. The most difficult thing that we had to do was to figure out how to transfer such large amounts of funds. Not large amounts. Let me not
that large.
Yeah, it wasn't that large. I don't need nobody come and try to rob me.
Right.
It wasn't that large. It wasn't that large.
Well, I was going to ask you because, I mean, not to get in your business of how much you pay, but what would around a guesstimate of a 1-bedroom, probably decent condo apartment, what have you, would cost a person?
It depends. Obviously, location, bam, 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 just like that. But to say in a nice location, maybe in what they would call the Johannesburg northern suburbs, you could probably start looking at about 35,000, and then maybe go up to about 40 to 50,000.
Oh shoot!
Nice.
Oh shoot! Oh okay.
Yeah.
I mean, and I hope people are listening because I mean, really, you could not find that in America.
No.
There's no way you could find that in America.
No, I got a truck outside costs more than that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? See, yeah. You already know.
The gas costs more too.
Yeah, the gas too.
Okay, I mean, so the cost of living in Johannesburg, y'all found is it kind of, I know that's cheap right there, but I know I've watched your videos, a couple of your videos on Johannesburg, and you were talking about cost of living, and things seems to be a lot cheaper.
Absolutely,
but it's cheaper.
Absolutely not.
Keep it just 1 second. Keep in mind that 35,000 is in the northern in Sandton or Greater Sandton, which is the most expensive
place here
space in the country. So
so you can get a lot cheaper than okay.
Yeah, you can find them a lot cheaper. Yeah, you go to Pretoria a little further out, or you go to even on the northern suburbs headed towards like Centurion or something like that. Closer to Pretoria, midway through Pretoria, it's more affordable than that. So we actually bought in probably one of the most expensive areas there. So, and that's 35, 40. But I mean, these are 1-bedroom flats.
Right.
And they have stuff that is way nicer. So that's your entry level kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Definitely can increase in price. Now, what was the question, brother? You asked us about.
Well, I was just talking about as far as the other cost of living and stuff.
Oh, the other cost of living, definitely. So now I want to preface this by saying that if you maybe live in smaller rural towns, what I'm saying may not be applicable.
Yeah.
But we live in New Orleans where the cost of living has increased drastically and somewhat at a neck-breaking pace since 2005 when, the entire city was flooded. So in the rebuilding process, there was a gentrification plan put in place, which was designed to kind of push Black folk out and make New Orleans into like a San Francisco boutique city. Mm-hmm. It didn't work because Black folk here just can't live nowhere else. So we came back. But however, it did increase the cost of rent. So if you're looking for the cost of rent for a decent 1-bedroom apartment in the city of New Orleans, not the suburbs, in the city of New Orleans, you're going to look at it between $1,200-$1,300 a month for a 1-bedroom, and that may not be in the most exclusive area. It's just a 12 to 1, and conversely, it's about $400 a month for a 1-bedroom in Johannesburg. So you look at those numbers and say, okay, well, and definitely can find stuff cheaper in Johannesburg, and you can find stuff cheaper in New Orleans. As I've told folks before, you definitely can find something cheaper than $1,200.
I saw your video, man.
But you need to make sure you have your bulletproof vest. Just make sure you have that near.
Yeah.
And
your gun.
And your. I live in a nice neighborhood. My gun is on my side as we speak.
Speaking of that, because Johannesburg, can get a bad rap about the crime. You hear, I have not seen many videos of people going into the hoods, if you will, there of Johannesburg. You got a large poverty that do exist there in Johannesburg.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I interviewed a brother who African from Ghana, who actually I met over in Botswana, that he shared with me his experience. He goes back and forth to Johannesburg, and actually it's on YouTube when him getting robbed he was going into his hotel. They caught it on camera, and they caught him in the car, and they stripped him from everything. What is the crime that you've experienced there in Johannesburg? Is there, is the hype, is it all that mean, or is it like America? It happens. Crime's everywhere anyway.
Crime everywhere. So that's a very interesting question. Yeah. Because we get that. Folks start talking about, hey, Johannesburg is dangerous.
Yeah.
So what I did was I pulled up the list of the 50 most dangerous cities in the world. Mm-hmm. And Johannesburg for 2 years straight was off of that list. Mm-hmm. But in 2021, it returned to the list at number 40. Mm-hmm. New Orleans was number 18. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yes, Johannesburg is dangerous, but it's nothing compared to what just this week alone, brother. Listen to what I'm saying. A group of 4 teens, one brother, 17 years old, and 3 sisters, 3 little girls, carjacked a woman, and her arm got caught in the seatbelt of the car, and they drugged this 73-year-old woman until her arm ripped from her body. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. At 1:30 p.m. in the day, right here in New Orleans.
It's so funny we talk about this because I was just in the store and I bought this right here. I'm up in Ohio right now, but I bought this right here, busted. I didn't never buy one of these before, but it shows the crimes that happened in the last month, right? Yeah. And it shows all the murderers, the rapists. They got all this, and you open up, it's like the list goes on and on of the crimes just here. This is just Columbus, Ohio, and this right here is 11 page. I guess it goes on. All crimes that happens, and you're right, man. I mean, compared to America with the crime, I'm sorry. Hands down, America's probably the top country with the most crimes that exist. Guns out of control.
Mass shootings.
Yeah. And and like people could see here, look, it ain't just black for those people in Africa and stuff. Look, it ain't just black folk. You probably got more white folk on there that you don't see on the local news. You know?
Right. Right.
Right.
So what I want to say is that every place has crime. It's going to depend how you carry yourself. And yes, my wife didn't go, but I went to Alexandria Township. We went to El Dorado. These are places that are typically that you would describe as the hoods in Johannesburg.
Yeah. We stumbled upon Hillbrow.
We did a video about that. Hillbrow is Cabrini Green, Chicago, 1999. Yeah, this is 1995. It's like that, right? We stumbled across this place to go find our property manager, and it was a hell of an experience, brother. I was riding. I ain't got no gun. My children in the back seat. So there's that element. It can get real. But I don't go to out of town on vacation for stuff to get real for me, and I don't do hood tours. Yeah. You know, my whole city is a hood. I don't need to see no extra hoods. I got it. I know what it's about. So we try to stay in areas where it's tourists, where it's safe, where we know where we're going. We always know somebody around there. We've created a network in South Africa, in Johannesburg, that we have people. And even when we did go to El Dorado, we were there with somebody from El Dorado. And when we went to Alexander, the guy we went to, I was cracking jokes. We were sitting outside and all these people moving and stuff. And I knew, I was like, oh, this is like Suge Knight. He invited us. And the way the people were moving around him, I was like, oh, I ain't got nothing to worry about. He was directing traffic with just, I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned about network. What is the expats like? I noticed there's a group of brothers and sisters there from America, probably UK. And what is that? Have you connected with a group there? And is it a large base or what have you?
From what I understand, that there are a lot of African Americans in SA. I don't know how to compare it to Ghana or anything like that. I think Ghana really has the most African Americans, and then followed closely by Tanzania. But there is a large African American expat population there. We've met a few people. Definitely not all of them. Maybe definitely not most of them, but we've met a few. And all of them, what I have experienced, and maybe my wife can correct me, they all have something in common. And what I've noticed is most of them are high-level professionals in some way. And even the ones that we are meeting now, that we have connected with, who are planning to move, a lot of them are doctors and engineers. And I think that's partly because South Africa being the most industrialized nation, they can see kind of similar opportunities in SA as they would have in the States or whatever have you. So again, I'm dentists, medical doctors, engineers, and just very high level, highly educated Black professionals from the US who are interested in SA. So that's just something that I observed.
Okay. All right. Now I know that I have an issue with South Africa.
Yeah, what's that?
Because of apartheid, the era of the apartheid, and the saying is like, really 90% of the land is owned by those white folks and only 10% by the brothers and sisters. Do the brothers and sisters there have a piece of the pie? Are we doing great things and owning businesses, or are we servants? Are we there just for their so-called wealth and their riches? Or are we able to be able to acquire and to get our wealth as well?
So let's contextualize the conversation, and then I don't want to monopolize it because my wife is way smarter than me. Let's look at the end of apartheid to now and understand that the Black middle class in South Africa has grown trifold from the end of apartheid to presently. And every year, the Black middle class is expanding, right? So that's a phenomenal feat just in itself. The Black middle class in America has not ever grown at a trifold rate, right? No. Secondly, the majority of businesses in South Africa are owned by Black people, right? Okay. So now the wealth is a different story. Business ownership versus wealth and land ownership. Those are different things, but the majority of businesses are owned by Black South Africans. As it relates to this Black middle class, you see them. You see them when you ride up and down the street. You see them in their nice cars. When you go, let me tell you a story. We went to a place called Dan Fern Golf Estates. I don't know the statistics of Dan Fern Golf Estates, but I do know that if it were in the United States, it would probably be like a Beverly Hills or something like that, a Baldwin Hills, Prince George's County, something very nice, right? And we were there, and there's a lot of white people, a lot of Indians, but there was a whole lot of Black folk. And we were there at the golf club estates, right? And I saw these 3 Black teenagers, South African teenagers. They were sitting at a table, and some girls came up to them, and they talked, and they ate. They ordered a little hamburger, whatever have you. And then they got up, and they started walking home. Now, I don't know what neighborhood in the United States that'll have, $1 million houses and all that good stuff, and Black children, teenage children, have the freedom to walk down the street without feeling like they're going to get pulled over. So my point is that Black folk in Johannesburg, in particular, from what I've seen, they're everywhere. We've been to the nicest of the nicest neighborhoods, and yes, sometimes they get whiter as you get in certain areas, but there's never a place where Black people are not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they are definitely there. So you see them driving the nice cars. You see them living in the very nice neighborhoods. You see them going to the very nice private schools. Now, as it relates to land repatriation, that's not my business. Let me tell you why. Let me say this. I believe that South Africa has enough intelligent, well-versed, educated Black South Africans and colored South Africans who have the wherewithal, the sense, and the intimate knowledge of politics, policy, and procedure to examine that situation and do what's best for the future of the nation. So I stay out of that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. It's the same way I feel about our continental African brothers and sisters coming over here and involving themselves in the reparation conversation. All you need to say is that you for reparations. And we got enough Black folk here with PhDs and MDs and master's degrees and all that. We can speak for ourselves, and they can speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I say about that.
Okay. Well said. One of my things is that I know, the what I see, because like I haven't done any videos, on Johannesburg or South Africa, because I'd rather be there on the ground doing the work and see for myself, gain my own experience and stuff. But it sounds like that for you all, that you found a place that is conducive to your lifestyle you're living for your children.
Yeah.
How are y'all going to play a part with your children's education? They're going to be distant learning. Do they have the education there for them? How does that work out?
Go ahead, baby. Let them know.
Yeah, our children attend it's a French immersion school here.
You sounding bougie. We sounding bougie. Well, let's explain some of this.
Y'all got some money.
Let's explain some of this stuff.
It's a charter school.
Let's explain some of this stuff.
School.
We are in Louisiana, and Louisiana was a French colony.
I already know
Louisiana, about 10 years ago, decided that the French language was dying, because when I was growing up, you can go to Lafayette, Louisiana, and you could hear grandmama still speaking. They didn't speak English. French was their first language. I'm talking about Black folk, right?
Yeah.
So Louisiana said, man, French is dying in this state. So we want to do something to make sure that it stays alive. So they started opening up all these little French schools around the state. So that's why our children go to a French school, because my wife thought it was important that they pick up a second language, right? Okay. So it ain't like, I won't be clear.
Okay. We're not bougie.
We're not bougie.
Well, hey, y'all can always move to Senegal. That'll come in handy when you go to Senegal.
I was actually thinking of opportunities for them in West Africa in their future, but anyhow, so they're a part of a school it's a part of a global network of French schools that the French government supports. Louisiana's government has done a lot of investment in that, and so there's a French immersion school in Johannesburg that the children could just transfer into because they're part of this network. And so they wouldn't skip a beat. It'd be the same exact curriculum they've been on. They just kind of pick up where they left off. And oddly, they've been in French school since pre-K. So you know, and they want to stay in a French school. Like I asked them, I was like, would y'all want to go to a French school that we could find? And they were like, oh no, it would be weird to go to an English speaking school. Like they want to continue with their French education.
So the whole curriculum is spoken in French.
Yeah. Their teachers they might come from West Africa, Belgium, France,
Gabon.
You know, Martinique.
So they don't speak English in the classrooms?
They have English class.
Yeah.
That's in English. Everything else is in French.
Like in high school when you had Spanish class. So English is like that's the flip side. Yeah. So they speak fluent French.
Yeah.
So now are you going to get them tied in Johannesburg speaking an African language?
Yeah.
That's my goal. Like I'm hoping that at least the third, instead of Spanish, the third language, they can start picking up a local language like Zulu.
Like Zulu or Izulu, I think it's
isiZulu.
isiZulu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's great. I mean, you know, one thing about us, you know, who come from America, we speak one language. You go to Africa, they speak 5, 6, 7 languages. You know,
right?
I mean,
you know, inadequate.
You know that you heard that joke that said, you know, what do you call someone who speaks 3 languages? You say they trilingual. What do you call someone who speaks 2 languages? You call them bilingual.
Yeah.
What do you call someone who speaks 1 language? An American.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to learn. We have to. And I mean, I don't know. I could barely speak English, so I'm trying my best.
My wife always correct me on my English. Believe me, she always does. Most definitely. So, okay, all right. Y'all moving in June.
Yep.
Yeah.
Y'all packing up and y'all going.
If I turn this camera around, you see how this house look?
Yeah.
Packing up the life.
Packing it up, baby.
Packing it up for good. Well, so you're going to be moving in June. You're going to be over there. You said that you all work through, you know, the internet or whatever your jobs do. Mm-hmm. I watched one of your videos, man, and to me it was touching, man. When you lost your job, you said in 2000 and what was
13.
that? 13.
Yeah, 2012 going into 13. Yeah.
It touched me in a way because, you know, for a Black man who, you know, is trying to do all he can for his family, and I could not imagine how you could come home and share that with your wife that you lost your job because y'all just opened up a business.
Opened up a coffee shop.
Y'all opened up a shop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, really, man, that's what I love about Africa is that when you are kind of forced to be an entrepreneur, typically in most African countries I've been to, you have the power in your own hands that you're not necessarily dependent upon, you know, some employer to feed you.
Right.
You know, but share with the people on that experience and how and what are you doing now? Are you still working for somebody, or y'all plan on doing business in Johannesburg besides your rental properties or what? Please share with that.
Well, so 2012, I was a bachelor's level employee with the state of Louisiana, and my wife we just had my baby. My baby was born in September, so this is in December of that year. And the governor at that time was named Bobby Jindal. Bobby Jindal had no affinity or love for mental health. And he decided to cut and close whatever he could. That was his claim to fame. Claim to fame was his ability to slash budgets. And he slashed the budget and he closed my agency. At the time, we had just opened the coffee shop, and the goal was, or the plan was, hey, we are both working. We're going to be able to funnel the type of money that we need in order to get this business off the ground and, you know, to sustain it. That didn't work like that. We got called into our office, and I'll tell you the truth, God honest truth. The man's name was Pete Calamari. I'll never forget this. Pete Calamari said, as long as I'm alive, you guys have a job, because we were all worried about it. This was on a Friday. he said, as long as I'm alive, you got a job. And he went home and died. It's the truth. That's God honest truth. He went home and died. He was up there sweating. He was dying then. He was up, he was up there sweating, saying that. And we said, oh, we got a job. By Monday or Tuesday, it was over for us. And I tell you what,
but he didn't die though. Seriously, he didn't die though, right?
No, he died. He died that Friday.
Facts.
Big facts.
Wow.
He said, if as long as I'm alive, you have a job. You will be this agency is not going anywhere. And he went home and died.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, down in New Orleans,
he said that 10 o'clock Friday morning, he was dead 3 o'clock Friday afternoon.
But you know, New Orleans got some spooky stuff. I still don't understand. And I don't mess with it either. So, but go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So, man, I tell you what, I just want to take this moment because I always admire my wife. She knows she's getting, because I say this because there's been many times you hear stories of men who have lost their job, they're unable to provide, they don't have money, and they come home and their wife is, well, what you gonna do? You gotta do this. How we gonna pay the bills? Blah, 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 blah. And my wife never said those things to me. All she gave me was words of encouragement. Oh, we'll be okay. Here I was, a high-level professional. I got a lawnmower and a truck, and I went out and started cutting grass, right? Mowing lawns in order to make ends meet. The coffee shop wasn't making any money. So I was trying to split money between paying bills here and keeping the lights on at the coffee shop. And my wife was always supportive. Mm-hmm. She would even get off of work and come out there and cut grass. We had our babies in the truck, right? And we would go out and cut yards together. And eventually I got a few yards and I got some work with the banks. And a couple of contracts, and I started to. So it didn't stay that way for long. But this is hard, strenuous work, and it's 100 degrees in New Orleans during the summertime. Yeah. So eventually, there was a guy when we first opened the coffee shop. The day we opened it, he came in and he looked around or whatever have you. I didn't think anything of it. I put a friend of mine had a business that he had sold, so I put the coffee shop up for sale, right? Like to buy the actual business itself. And the guy who came into the coffee shop that first day came back and he made me an offer. He didn't want my business. He wanted my location, right? That gave us a nice job because, man plans a lot of plans, and indeed Allah is the greatest of all planners. Obviously we Muslim, but he wrote us a nice check. I didn't have to do anything. He just wrote us a nice check and he took over the business. My landlord said, hey, you got somebody to replace you? I don't care. Let him start paying on your behalf. Yeah, exactly. Because if I let you stay trying to force you to pay, you ain't got, I see this ain't working. So we were blessed to get out. After that, again, I was still cutting, but that's not anything that I wanted to do long term. I'm sweating. I'm hot out there. It's hard to keep good employees because eventually I had to actually hire people. And he's
no fun to work with.
And I'm not fun to work with. I'm being honest. When I'm working, I'm focused on let's get the job done. As much as I like to laugh now, is how opposite I am when I'm actually working. Yeah. So I ended up getting offered another job. I took that job and I said, well, I won't put myself in this position again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure that I have something. So we took the money that was given to us for the coffee shop. We built an Airbnb. We had a backyard. We built a guest house in our backyard, and Airbnb was popping. And that was one of the best investments that we ever made. Wow. We had, another rental property. Send me your address. I might buy your house. Oh, well, look, I'll send it to you. You can have it. I'll send it to you quick.
Take it. Yeah.
So
put the address out there because we might have some buyers out there too as well. You never know.
Yeah, I'm not putting my address out there, but yeah, I'll put my email my email address. Holler at me. Yeah. So I went back to work. And I said, I'm not going to put myself in this position again. I need to go and make sure I have degrees and credentials. I already had a bachelor's degree, so I said, I'm going to go back to school. So my wife didn't bat her eye. She said, you can do it. Always supportive, man. And that's what I tell people. I'm Muslim, but the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. Yeah. You don't have to believe in Christianity. You don't have to believe in the Bible. But that statement is 100% true. When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And the second part of that verse says, and he obtains the favor of the Lord. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what happened. I I can get on these internets and talk all I want because I got a friend who has my back. You understand what I'm saying?
You know, you saying that, you know, and you also mentioned that in your video, and it actually it made me feel proud because I speak highly of my wife, you know, and I hope that there's brothers out here and sisters out here to see that when you become a team, you got to be supportive of each other. Yes. You know, I know that, you know, we have our struggles in our marriages and we have some issues. And sometimes, you know, I find whether it's some of my friends or relatives and stuff like that who leave a good woman for some shank old skanky old and ain't supportive, ain't got your back. And it's like, for what?
Man, if you're going to cheat up.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He said cheat up.
If you go from a school teacher to a nurse, you know, you gotta
say this right here.
You gotta go up.
You funny, man.
You don't cheat with the lady working your wife a teacher and you cheating with the worker at McDonald's on fries. That don't make no sense, brother.
Well, I'll say this right here. And I know you joking, but really, because you already know that. Like you said, when you find a wife,
you find a good thing.
You find a good thing. And it's great because I know I have seen marriages break up over one who has an idea want to move, especially to Africa. You know, and another one don't want to. And that causes a lot of friction. And so you had mentioned earlier that when Adrienne was talking about Africa, you were like, I got to rethink this whole thing, you know, see what she's talking about going or what have you. But it takes two, man, to become a team. And I tell people, marriage, really, if you really think about it, if two people can have the mindset to build, not tear down, but just build.
Yeah.
That's where it's all at. And I believe from your support, Adrienne, to your husband is why things turned out the way they did. Because had you not had the support, his mind and he would have been elsewhere, you know.
The patience. Let me tell you, it's about the patience. Because I'm not an easy person to deal with. I know that. I'm not
either. My wife will tell you. I ain't got to tell you. My wife will tell you.
but what I am is honest. And I'm able to tell my wife, hey, if I'm wrong, I apologize. If I messed up, I shouldn't have said it like that. Yep. You know, will you forgive me? I do a lot of that, right? I do a lot of that because, you know, I don't know how to control his mouth sometimes. I don't never curse her out. Now, that's one thing we don't have in this household. We have a sign on our door that says, live well, laugh much, and love often, or something like that. Yeah. That's on the outside of our door. We don't holler. I don't curse her. She don't curse me. We don't raise. I get my Malcolm on. Who you raising? You out your mind? You raise your voice in this house. No, I don't do that. We don't holler. We don't scream. And I talked in the video about joy, man. Listen, I'm serious about this. Ain't got nothing to do with Africa and moving, but you gotta have joy. Happiness is transient. It's temporary. It come and go. You're happy for a job. You're happy for a girl. But if you have joy, right? Joy is a perpetual state of being. And this is something that I had to learn over my 43 years of life. And now that I have learned it, I have embraced it. And my wife, but you know, my wife brings me joy and she has a joy and we have a joy together. So even in the hardest of hard times, when we had to take $100 and go to Walmart and buy groceries for 2 weeks, you buying red beans and spaghetti and rice to last you for 2 weeks. We never stopped laughing. What you see here, go ahead.
I want to talk about patience because I was serious. I really wanted to move to Africa.
She did.
Back in the day. And so when he was like, nah, it was heartbreaking for me. You know, and I was like, dang, like my dream is gone. I got to stay here.
But the argument, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say though, even though it felt disappointing at the time, I wasn't going to put that above my vows and my marriage. You know, it was like, well, this is what I chose. I have to live with the decision. And I came across a woman once who was like, it's not over forever. She was like, it's about timing. Right now is not the time. So it's just live your life, do your assignment right now, be a good wife, be a good mother to these children you have, and you never know how God will bring that back. And then Johannesburg came, and it was a perfect compromise, right? Like, this is the Africa that he came across. He was like, oh yeah, I want to do this. All of a sudden there's an excitement, and I'm like, I finally get to go.
Right.
So but it's the perfect time, because now that you're describing everything we've been through, you know, I have no doubt that we can go to another country and we'll be all right.
Be all right. We've been battle tested now.
Right.
We've been battle tested in so many ways that it's like, oh yeah, we can move and do this. But I want to say this: when she said she wanted to go when we first got married, my argument was this: I got a good job in a house, we making money. Now you want to pick this up and go and live in a village? I ain't about to go do that.
I was like, we'll make it, figure it out.
No, I got a BMW outside. I am not about to go live in nobody's village. So what I say that to say, when you get to, I think the allure of South Africa and Johannesburg and Cape Town and Pretoria and Durban is that it's an ease of transition. Like, if you want to go and live a rural life and you want to, you know, there's the Gambia for you. You know, there's all these other places. But if you like city life, I'm a city boy, right? I'm from a city that never sleeps. We can go and party at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm a city boy. Johannesburg is a city, right? So none of the stuff that I'm used to will I miss. High-speed internet, got it, right? You know, nice malls and stores to go to, got it. Can I go buy a nice, pretty house in a nice neighborhood? Got it. You know, highways, all the restaurants you want to eat. If you want to eat at high-end restaurants, or you want to eat at McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King, they got them all. They even have a Popeyes. Now, it don't taste the same, but they have a Popeyes. Popeyes outside New Orleans don't taste the same.
No, I love when I heard you say that you love to eat. You have fat boy tendencies.
I do.
The inner fat person.
The inner fat person. He's strong too. He's strong. I gotta control him. Get back. Man, but yes, we do. There's a love for Johannesburg. And let me tell you another thing about South Africa, getting back to the conversation. You can see just about anything that you want in that country. You go to Cape Town and you go on to Table Mountain, again, not to get religious, but if you are a believer, you stand on Table Mountain, there's no way that you can deny the existence of a supreme being when you see the actual detail that was laid out and the magnificence laid out when this place is created. It is absolutely breathtaking. The most picturesque place that I've ever been on earth, right? You can see those mountains. You can take from there and go to a safari at Kruger National Park, and you can go see all these big animals, and then drive 5 hours and be right back in a city. Right.
Get tropical in Durban.
You get all of this stuff in one country, you know. So that's important. And then I'm gonna tell you another thing. As you know, we moved to Africa to see our Black people, see Africans. Also, there's a lot of variety in South Africa. So there's a lot of Indians there, Malaysians, and all of these. So there's a variety of people that you see and meet. So Johannesburg is a cosmopolitan city with a whole, yes, it's like 80% Black. But we run into Indians all the time. We run into, obviously, they're going to have your Europeans and your British and your Afrikaans and Asians. We saw an Asian couple when we were going to eat, and just Muslims. That's another thing. We've seen a lot of Muslims there. We are Muslims, so we've seen a lot of Muslims there, and so it's just a lot of variety in this place. So you get that metropolitan, cosmopolitan city right there in Africa, and then you're still super majority Black.
Awesome. I did a video the other day comparing the I had the picture of Africa and Israel, and not to bang on anybody's faith or belief, but the Garden of Eden is a beautiful place, and I'll sit here and still say that Africa's the place. And so it has all. It has the, like you said, the grandeur of the land side and the mountains, the rivers, the surrounding oceans and animal. It's all beautiful, and it's breathtaking to me.
Yeah.
It really is. And how vast Africa is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how long is the flight from South? I know because I flew out of Namibia, and it took me 1.5 years to get back.
Yeah. So
what's the flight time to get down there to Johannesburg?
14
typically?
hours straight flight.
14 hours direct flight from Newark.
From Newark, yeah.
Oh, so they have a direct flight. Okay.
They used to have
one from Atlanta too.
Yeah, I don't know where it's at because I can't find it right now. But Delta used to have one straight. Right now, it looks like it goes from Delta to, you have to get over to KLM and you go to
so you have to go through
Europe, and then you fly down. But
United Airways
United has one from Newark straight into, and that's 14 hours. I don't know if there's a time difference. I don't know, but it's 14 hours.
14 hours, yeah.
And it's really not a bad flight at all. You know, those 14 hours go by pretty fast. I
prefer that to a layover in Europe.
Yeah. And I mean, I think what happens is there's those 2 days travel time that you're talking about when you go for a week, but you got to take a 2 days of travel off. So if you got 14 hours, if you leave, you can basically get that in one day. Boom.
Okay.
Now you're there.
Mm-hmm.
And
now visiting Johannesburg, what is the entrance protocol as far as visa? How long can you come in for and all that there for people to know?
If you got that blue passport, that old American thing, I know we talk bad about that thing, but boy, it gets you to a lot of places.
Yeah.
It gets you like, you don't have to ask no questions. You just be like,
yeah.
So it's 90 days. They give you this 90-day tourist visa just walking in. Bam.
Okay.
Now you have to have
charge.
Right now in the age of COVID, no charge. In the age of COVID, you got to have a PCR test that was taken within 3 days of your departure, 72 hours of your departure, that says you are negative. And you show that, you show your passport. They may ask you a question like, what are you doing here? You know, what you plan on doing? And that's it. They stamp. Now you have 90 days to be there. And if you want to extend, right? They say you need to start that process like the next day because it takes so long. It still is, you know, it's some things we have to get used to, right? As Americans, we are, you know, get it.
Done.
You know, emails all night. If I send you an email and you ain't responded within about 2 hours, I'm gonna follow up. Let me follow up. See what's wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? So that type of pace. But I say that to say that if you want to get that visa, visitor's visa extended for another 90 days, they say you need to start the process early because it takes a while. It may take 2 months to get you that extension. So you can actually get it extended for 6 months, basically from the initial first 90 days. But you have to start that process early.
Great. Okay. Well, you know, it's interesting that, and I hope people picked up that there is no charge for visa expense to go into Johannesburg. Mm-hmm. So that is a plus. I mean, with the expenses of that, you know, COVID testings and stuff like that, you know, man, it can rack up. It definitely can rack up.
And I just have to tip my hat to the South African people, believe it or not, I talked about slow, but we're talking about a very efficient, a very industrialized nation. For instance, their COVID protocol, their COVID testing, we went 3 times in 2021 and we just came back last week. And each time we had to go get, you know, tested to come back into the United States. I've never seen anything quite like that in the US. There's a place you go, Ampath. They do the test. If you go in the morning, you download the app, it comes to your phone by 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And then you can open the app and it has what's that little barcode looking square thing, you know, that you hold, like people do their restaurant.
Oh yeah.
Whatever that's called.
QR
codes, right?
Yeah.
It's there. If you need a signed one, they already have it on the app. All you have to do is print. This is efficient, right? In the US, when we leave we go take the test. I got to go back to the place and ask them can you please, can you stamp it and sign it so I can leave? They already have this figured out. And part of that is that Africa has dealt with these type of public health emergencies before, so they already had this infrastructure in place. In 2021, when we were going in the stores, oh no, it was no walk in without your mask. Oh no, you gonna have that mask on, and you're gonna sanitize your hands, and they're gonna take your name, and they're gonna take your number for contact tracing in case somebody in this place tests positive. We can reach out to you so that you can go and get yourself checked or be aware. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the protocols are serious, so we definitely appreciated that coming from a place like Louisiana and New Orleans in the South, where people were like upset just to wear mask. I ain't wearing no mask and blah, 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 blah. And we literally had people dying in our streets from COVID, right?
Yeah.
So it was something to see this. So I always tip my hat to SA for their public health infrastructure as it related to COVID-19. Now they have some other stuff that they may be concerned about, but they were on point with that.
Now, speaking of that, because health and all that right there, do you need vaccines as far as like, yellow fever? You need, is malaria a problem there?
No.
See, malaria, mosquitoes. So yeah, I had to do the malaria prophylaxis when I was in Mali, and I had to get a yellow fever vaccine to Mali and Tanzania, I think.
And Tanzania too,
the last time we were there, we slept with windows open for a cool breeze. The entire time we were there, huh?
Not
one mosquito. They have 4 seasons there, right? They have 4 seasons there.
I think they got cool and not so cool.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know Joburg doesn't get. I don't think it gets sweltering hot or like.
Because it's mountainous.
Cold.
Yeah. Okay. So it can get cold then.
Yeah, it can get cold.
It can get chilly, but it's it's mountainous and it's
like
beautiful.
Boston.
But as she was saying, go tell them about the mosquitoes.
No, I was just saying, I was amazed because when it was up and I was like, oh, I hope I don't end up with like all these mosquito bites falling asleep, because that's been my experience before, and not a single bite. I didn't even see bugs. Like I just didn't. I was like, we had these windows open all night long, wide open to get that.
Now we were on like the 8th floor.
Still.
Yeah. So
you try that in Mali if you want to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, shoot, they're gonna tear you up.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll tear you up in Ghana too. Yeah, they'll tear you up in Sierra Leone. Yeah.
I think that's the important thing about it. Like no vaccines. I think the reason why I would encourage people, African Americans, to visit Johannesburg and Cape Town, because instantly, if you have any preconceived notions and you have believed the propaganda of white racism and white supremacy about Africa, about it being the jungles and all that good stuff, and people are poor and poverty and the little babies with the swollen bellies and the dry snotted nose, if you believe all of that, Johannesburg instantly shatters, or Cape Town, South Africa instantly shatters those images. You do see Black progressive people. You see all of the nice buildings and nice neighborhoods. So I think, and again, that with the public health infrastructure, no need for malaria shots and all of that type of stuff. I also challenge my South African family to stop using language like the third world. Like, it's not a third world. It's not developing. Nothing about it is developing. Yeah. I can come show you New Orleans, where New Orleans is a developing city then. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Third world has nothing to do. Third world is a World War II designation about who was on what side. You know what I'm saying? And all the people who were non-aligned were considered, like, the first world was the US, second world was whoever, third world was the people who did not align. So that language, we have to take back the language from the oppressor, and for those who use propaganda and weaponized language against us. So stop using third world. Stop using developing. South Africa in particular is not a developing nation. It's fully developed.
And I feel like those of us that have visited are almost like, no, it's not only is it shattering, but it's like, it's better. Like, where I'm visiting is in better condition than where I'm from.
Listen, we're from Louisiana, so maybe our perception is viewed.
Some other Americans from other places.
Folk from Memphis, folk from Memphis was telling us, Louisiana, Mississippi, 49th and 50th in terms of poverty. So we might be impressed with stuff that most people are not. We're like, but
you have a boy from Texas.
That's what I'm saying. Our folk from Texas, our folk from Memphis, right? They were like, no, this is popping. We go to Houston on a spur of the moment just to go out to eat at there's a Ghanaian restaurant that we like out there, off the chain, Zongo. Please check it out. And we'll go out to
what?
Zongo, Zongo.
Zongo. Yeah, I just left Houston last month. Yeah.
Man, you should check it out. It's actually in Katy, like in that area.
Okay.
Of town.
It's Houston, but close, like on that side.
Yeah, Katy. But we'll go out there. So I know what Houston looks like. I know what Fifth Ward look like and all of that good stuff. So I know the hoods, and I'm telling you, it is comparable. You can compare, Joe. When my South African family asked, well, what is America like? I was like, right around Johannesburg.
Yeah.
Go see what it's like. Yeah, you want to see what it's like right around Josie. If you want to see what the projects in America like, go to Hillbrow. Because that's what it looks like. If you want to see what, the rest of the city, just right around you, just Josie, and you're looking at what America looks like. And if you want to know what Johannesburg, right around Houston. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I say it because, people are, I still get that, oh, y'all going to the jungles. And I just told a coworker, a colleague, let me say that we were moving, and she was, where y'all gonna live over there? So I showed her a video of a house that we're looking to rent. Man, go black.
This house.
Hey, first of all, they actually study interior design in SA. Like they have that's part of a growing curriculum and a growing field. So when I tell you they lay out their houses, color schemes and how decor, feng shui, homie. Yeah. All that. So when they lay out their houses, they really laid out. So I showed her the video of the house that we're looking to we're going to rent before we actually buy a place over there. We already got, remember, before we buy a place that we're going to live permanently, we want to kind of be able to move around, see where we want to stay. But the house we go to, she looked, she said, oh, shoot, can I move with you? I said, well, baby, pack up. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. They had their stuff laid out now.
I know they do. Yeah. I know I've only been to Johannesburg through the airport when I was going over to Namibia. Okay. And that airport is immaculate. That airport is just like laid out, they have. And just flying into the Johannesburg, just looking down at the layout of the part of the city, it was definitely eye-opening, And so, but let me say this right, because we're gonna come to a close here. I know you all have this, and you spoke about joy, and the title of my thing was "You Are Moving Your Joy Over to South Africa."
I saw that. I appreciated that.
Yeah, because I saw a video where y'all just have this bundle of joy, and it's a vibe that you have, that you found a connection with Johannesburg. What parting words would you like to share with the people, whether it's traveling Africa or what have you, to Johannesburg? What words would you encourage, motivate our people and inspire them to?
You go first. I go for you. You need some time. I feel like well, listen.
Just go.
I quote scripture because I read scripture.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
There's a story in the Quran, and these people are complaining to the angels. And they say, man, we being oppressed over here. They messing over us. Black Lives Matter. they complaining to the angels.
Yep.
And they say, man, we being oppressed in this land. The angels don't look at them and say, well, go out there and fight. Go out there and protest. Let them know that Black Lives Matter. The angels look at them and say, well, damn, didn't Allah make a planet, Earth, big enough for you to migrate?
Now that's powerful.
Right? So not all 40 million black folk can leave the United States, right? But a lot of us are sitting here complaining when they got a great big world out here that can bless you and bless your life and change your life, give you a better quality of life. Let me tell you what I love about going to Johannesburg. I drive. When the first time I went there, in 2019, I got out of the airport in Johannesburg. We went to Cape Town first. I got out of the plane in Johannesburg from Cape Town, rented a car with the steering wheel on the other side of the road, on the other side of the car, driving on the other side of the road, and I drove 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Never. You know when you drive and the police get behind you, you tense up. Oh Lord, have mercy. Turn down that music. Right. I got my seatbelt on, all that old type of stuff. You don't have that feeling now. I've gotten pulled over in Johannesburg. It was an absolute pleasurable experience. Right? The lady
I filmed actually in Tanzania driving. I don't know if y'all saw the video or not, being stopped by the police, and it was pleasurable, laughing with them and all that. They're filming, showing getting stopped there in Tanzania by a police officer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Great. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a great experience, but the woman, she said, she looked at my license and she said, "You're not afraid to drive over here?" I said, "No." She couldn't even pronounce Louisiana. And she was like, "All right, be safe, sir." And going, we just an exchange. And she had a pistol right here. But never did I think that I was going to die in that exchange.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I said to say that people move around. There's places where you can find a peace, a better quality of life. There's a certain weight. There's a brother, Dr. James. I want to mention him right quick. He talked about the weight being put on him as when he had to fly back into the United States. It was like a weight being put on him. There's ways of leaving that weight. You know what I'm saying? There's places you can go in the world where you can drop that weight for good. Johannesburg is one of those places, but the continent belongs to us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Africa is our throne, the entire earth is our home. But we should learn to move and migrate. And for those that want to stay here, I don't ever knock people. I understand. We have a claim to this land. We have a right to this land. They owe us, right? However, there's still opportunities for you to move and to create a synergy between the continent and here, where you can have that freedom. It's a new day. We don't need a green book anymore.
Yeah,
it's a new day. It is time for Black folk to start moving around. The white folk doing it. The white folk been doing it. I get on a plane to South Africa, it's white people. I get on a plane, but I get on a plane anyway to Colombia, white people. I get on a plane to Istanbul, white people. Negroes, please stop going to the Dominican Republic. Please.
See the world.
Miami and Atlanta will be there.
Like Jamaica too, but damn.
Man, it was a great time talking to you, brother, man.
Hold up. I gotta hear the feminine side now. I gotta hear from
Adrian.
Side.
I was just gonna say, just go, because after my first trip to Africa, I fell in love, and I just wanted to see more and more and more and more of the continent. And any chance that I got, I was on a plane, linking up some kind of way, finding myself there for some reason. And it didn't matter what reason. I was like, I'm just going to get there. So, I think Black Americans reach out, link up, find yourself there, connect, whatever country you want to connect to, do that.
I want you to describe that conversation you were having with Ashley in Africa about femininity, since he wanted to hit the feminine side. Tell him about like what you were saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, Ashley and I connected because in the U.S., I think hardens women, right? Whether it's a feminist movement or I don't need a man or whatever it is, it can harden us in a way that it just takes away from the beauty of our femininity. And what I found in Tanzania, my time there, was just that women just had the chance to really it's hard to explain, to really be in their femininity and to enjoy being women and doing women things. And I know people will argue with me about what that is. I didn't know women thing cooking and but there was such a celebration in womanhood that I found in Africa that I thought was very beautiful. Everything from just having parties to do henna, or just like cooking together and talking and communing. I just thought it was beautiful. And I don't know that I would have had that same experience in the United States. I can't say I wouldn't, but it was lovely to have there. And one of my most cherished memories from Tanzania, from Dar es Salaam.
Yeah. And I think the United States, not only does it affect femininity, it creates a perpetual state of hypermasculinity, right? Yeah. You got to just be on all day. You got to be alert of your surroundings, the type of productivity, the level of productivity. I got to go. So my wife tells me, when you're in South Africa, you're a lot nicer. You're a lot, because I don't have to be so on guard and so on, not just on guard, but just on. There's a level, and so then you're able to explore the other sides of your masculinity, the sensitive side, the softer side, the caring side, the patient side, because these are parts of what a man is, right? So I think, again, just in the United States, it has this effect, this culture of capitalism it makes it hardens everybody, male and female.
Yeah, it does. Well, good folks, I tell you what, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely
interviewing you all, and I'm quite sure you have sparked a lot of people's interest in Johannesburg, South Africa, period, as a whole. And I appreciate, because I will be down, and me and my wife is coming down there here in July. So
man, y'all gotta look us up, man.
Oh, we gonna look you up. There's no doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
That's gonna be nice.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. And so I appreciate what you all are doing. And for you all folks out there, please go check out their YouTube channel. They've given some credible information out there that you can get a taste, even a broad scope of what Johannesburg is about. And there's a contact. We have a contact in Johannesburg, you know.
Right there, just like that. Bam, 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 just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that. So with that, brothers and sisters, I thank you each and well, hold up. Let me stop. Let me get 5 questions. I almost forgot, because I know people have some questions. I'm gonna take the 5 questions people have here in the chat that you want to ask our brothers.
Man, where is the chat? I ain't seen the chat yet.
You got your chat off, or
I don't know. I don't know how to work it. I'm not that smart.
Okay, that's okay. I can bring it up on the screen when they go ahead and ask a question.
All right, go ahead. I'm ready. Bam, let's go. Bam, bam, bam.
And then we'll come to this close right here. So if y'all got a question, please ask. I'll take the first 5 questions. So the it's gonna come in here in a minute. Once it does, I'm like, okay. Yeah. Please put a question mark, you all. Question mark after your questions. Okay, I have to say that too. Let's see here. Let me go through here because my screen is flipping. Okay. Think before you type. Hey, thank you very much for your heart of giving. They say, what an amazing show. Assalamu alaikum, brother and sister. Yeah, wish you all the best in life and hereafter.
Boy, I like the Muslims, boy. See how we be talking to each other? Yeah, bro. Wish you the best. I wish you the best of life, man. I speak life and love and light and the mercy of Allah to your life, brother. Yes, indeed. I love that talk.
Great. Have you all been to Namibia?
No, but we going.
But I really want to go.
Big facts, we going.
Yeah, because that's not too long of a flight. Yeah. Next question. Can you use an American loan to purchase in SA?
I guess if you get a loan in the United States and they give you the money, then you could take that money to go to SA. However, you can get a loan in SA. It's not called a loan, it's called a bond. Yeah. And you can get a bond, but you have to put 50% down, is what we've been told. Or you have to have some collateral in SA. So if, for instance, if we wanted to borrow, we own all of our properties flat out. So we don't have a bond or a mortgage. If I wanted to borrow against my properties, use them as collateral to buy a house in SA, I could. So, but other than that, you would have to come up with 50% down. And you can get a 20-year bond on once I
don't know. I don't know if there's a U.S. institution that would allow you to purchase overseas.
What I'm saying is if they can secure a loan, like they can use an American loan to purchase an SA. I don't know if a bank is going to say, Wells Fargo is not going to say, yeah, let me give you this money. But if you can get a loan, like a personal loan, yeah, definitely.
And so how long, like a mortgage or whatever, do you have? 50% down, and then how do they chop that up in as far
20
as
years?
20 years, okay.
Max.
Yeah, 20-year max. I mean, but think about that. I want you to look at those numbers. Say because you could probably buy a house, a very nice, decent, very nice house for maybe 130, 140. Now, definitely they go up to $300,000-400,000, get all kind of $1 million. But if you just wanted a decent house, 130, 140, and you're talking about, gated community, decent house, and you put 70 down, you only paying off 70,000 over 20 years. Think about how small.
Well, America is you put 20% down and got to pay 30 years. So 50% for 20, I can understand. Yeah.
You have to be vaccinated to enter South Africa. COVID? No. You don't have to be vaccinated at all. They don't ask for no vaccination and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay. The next question. Have you been? Go ahead. You can read that.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been there. We have, and we saw the gumboot dancers. So let me tell y'all a quick story about the gumboot and how it relates to Black Americans. we can trace the history of, we are both part of Black Greek letter organizations, right? I remember Phi Beta Sigma, the fraternity of Huey P. Newton, and the fraternity of Kwame Nkrumah and all that good stuff. But anyway,
yes.
So when you see gumboot dancing in South Africa, we get stepping, you know.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
From gumboot dancing. It came, there's some different theories on how it came, but it came from South Africa. And it's undeniable. It's like undeniable when you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we big facts plan to travel to other African countries. Well, I think the wife has more plans than me. I'm gonna be in Johannesburg eating lamb chops. Big facts. They got the best lamb chops in the world. So I'm gonna be there eating, but she wants to go to different places.
Keep moving around. Yeah. I can't wait to
Last question.
Yeah, I'm retiring soon. Could I live in SA permanently? So let's talk. Can we take a moment to talk about
we
visa
can,
options?
When I saw that right there, give people some of the options, because I know we got retirees and who might have some.
Look up 37,000 Rand for me. So there are several visa options that can get you to live in SA. There's one called a critical skills visa. So the critical skills visa, they actually just changed it February 2022. But initially, it is a list of occupations and qualifications that can get you a long-term visa or let me say, it's a list of qualifications and occupations that are in need in South Africa. So stuff like pipe fitters or IT personnel and stuff like that. So that
call center
managers, customer service, a lot of things. So if you have experience in one of those fields, then you can apply for a critical skills visa and hopefully get employed. I think the way it was working was that they'd give you a year to find a job. Now I think they're waiting for you to have an offer of employment. And then from that point on, I guess it's unlimited how long you're there. So there's a critical skills visa. There's also what they call a independently wealthy person visa. And I think if you can prove that you have $300,000 in the bank or something like that,
then and assets too.
And assets.
Not just cash.
Yeah. Then you can get that independently wealthy visa.
Home, cars you own,
right.
Assets.
Nice.
Then there is the retired person's visa. The retired person, well, then let's go here. The business visa. The business visa says that you would have to have about 5 million Rand, which is, how much is that? I don't know.
However, like 300K?
300K is something like that, invested into a business in South Africa to get a business visa. And I think the business visa lasts, don't quote me, 3 to 5 years or something like that. Then there's a retired person visa. The retired person visa, if you have a retirement like coming in every month from the military or from the state job that you worked or from a pension, annuity, right? For 37,000 Rand, which is how much?
2,500.
If you can prove that you get $2,500 a month, you can get a retired person's visa, and 3,000 Rand additional for every dependent. So your wife, your children.
And that also includes passive income from rental property.
And also includes passive. So that was our goal. So that is our goal, is to get enough passive income from real estate to get a retired person's visa. Once you get the retired person's visa, then you can apply for permanent residence. And once you get permanent residence, you have all the rights and responsibilities of a South African citizen besides voting. You can't vote.
Yeah.
Now there are some other visas that you can look into depending on I want to say, I guess, your level of education. So by me having a PhD, I got a invite from the University of Witwatersrand. I did it. I don't know. Wits. University of Wits to do research. So that's how we're initially going to be there. And that's a 3-year visa. So, and then whether I get a permanent position at the university, whatever have you, we'll see how that works out. But I got a research visa, and we still have our, United States job. So then we're able to support ourselves very,
Yeah. They have what other one's artist?
There's an artist visa.
I think there's a volunteer visa.
There's a volunteer visa, but a volunteer visa, you need a official invitation from a NGO in South Africa saying, hey, we want you to come volunteer. And I think those are limited in their time. And then the artist visa is almost very similar to the research visa, but you just have to prove that you're an artist, that you're going there to study to I mean, that you're going there to research, to write a book, or to paint, or
do a
record an
documentary
album, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but they don't really popularize those last three. The main one they popularize are the business, the retired persons, and the critical skills.
All righty then. Hey man, that's a wealth of knowledge that I can believe that everybody can go ahead and take advantage of. And most definitely, I appreciate you all again, man, for just giving me that opportunity to interview you all. You know, y'all have opened up Johannesburg for people. I mean, hopefully pique their interest, checking it out, and go visit, family. Go visit.
Go visit. And go black to Africa.
Go black. Go black. Y'all do it with me. Go black to Africa.
Big old facts.
All right.
Y'all sit tight real quick, and I say farewell to you all, Asad.
All right.
Let me end the broadcast.